Yeah, we got good news and unfortunately some bad news. Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back. Want to give you all a quick update on the Hobie build. For those that are new here, this is my Hobie Pro Angler 14360 Mike Iaconelli Edition. My goal is to build the ultimate fishing kayak for my needs. So a lot of things I'm doing to this build tailors to me. It's not for everybody. You know, some people may think this is a little over the top, but again, everything I'm doing to this kayak is for my style of fishing and honestly things that I know I'm going to use to its purpose. Yeah, unfortunately, we got some bad news, but there's so many positive things about this build. We're not going to let that get in the way because negativity is just not needed in this world. So we're going to start things off with the bad news. As I said in my last video, this kayak will be displayed at the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show, February 15th to the 19th. Well, one of the key pieces for this kayak build is not going to be here, and that is my Lowrance Active Target 2. I just got news from Lowrance last week that it is unfortunately back ordered, so I won't be getting it till later this month, likely after the show. But we're not going to let that news bother us because there's so much hard work that we put into this build. So you know what? I'm not going to keep y'all waiting. Let's jump right into it. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I was able to get done over the last couple of weeks. We're still waiting on a few other things, but I think the stuff that we got done was really important, mainly electrical type stuff. So obviously here in what I would call the office, you know, this is where everything gets done. We're running 2 graphs this year, got them both mounted. These are Lowrance Elite FS9 9-inch graphs, touchscreen, and I got one right here to the left side of the seat and obviously one up here at the bow. This may seem overkill for a lot of people, but I actually use my electronics to their full capabilities. I prefer to fish offshore most of the time. Don't get me wrong, love to fish shallow. We'll do it anytime I can, but most of the time the bank gets beat up too much and I prefer to fish offshore. So up here, obviously my active target will be connected to this unit. This is strictly what it's for. I was able to fab up a custom H-reel that's a little bit different than everybody else. Most people use a 21-inch Hobie H-reel. I was actually given an H-reel just like the ones that comes on the side of the Hobie from a fellow Washington angler, Brandon. So big shout out to you, man. He gave me the full length H-reel. I was able to cut down the sides of length. This one sits about 24, 25 inches. And I was able to use the existing tracks on the Hobie, create a system where I can actually bolt it down. That way I get the full length and I don't have to drill extra holes in this kayak. Basically for this, I just use a Yak Attack Mighty Bolt, a little nylon spacer that I picked up at Home Depot. Just because of the holes on this mounting system, you cannot get a socket through there. So I needed to lift that nut up so I can use a wrench and tighten it down. But honestly, it came out super great. It's super sturdy. I can literally pick up this kayak with that bar. To mount the graph, I'm just running 2 H-rail mounting plates to hold it. And then I got my wiring just ran through here for now to the existing through hole that Hobie has. Probably going to add another one once I get my active target on. I just don't think that 6 ports, which is 3 on each side, is enough to run all these units. So I did pick up another one and I'll probably add it to the front. One of the things I did, and we'll be doing more on this build, is using this wiring loom, picked it up from Amazon, just to protect the wiring. On my graph on the side, I have all 3 wires, which is my power, transducer, and my Nemea 2000, wired all the way through with that wiring loom, so it's clean, it's protected, and I don't have just a bunch of wires everywhere. This graph on my left will be doing my mapping, 2D, down scan, and side scan, and I got that connected to a Lowrance 0.1 antenna. This is basically just a heading sensor, so if you are sitting in one spot, and if you notice your map is consistently spinning around, this makes it so that you're pointed in a true direction with the bow. So when I'm fishing offshore, and I line up on a spot, I know exactly where I'm pointing and if I'm actually casting in the right direction. This antenna is mounted on 2 Yak Attack 90-degree mounts and a 1 objective puck mount. Again, one of the things that I don't want to do is drill too many holes in this kayak, so that puck mount by 1 objective was really clutch, and I was able to just utilize 2 90-degree mounts and use the existing track, which in my opinion came out great. Moving to the back, obviously running my Black Pack Pro again. This was nice to have last year. I never got any of my tackle wet, which is really key. You know, I don't know how they did it, but definitely no water gets in here. Got 8 rod holders on it and was able to put the Omni hook so that it's secured. I mean, this thing is not going anywhere. One thing that I wanted to do this year was get a different angle while fishing out of the kayak. So I had the boomstick and decided to go with the Panfish Pro from Yak Attack. I found out last year that the boomstick, with how long it was, it didn't really stay still on it just because it had such a high center of balance. So I decided to go with the Panfish, and it seems like it's staying on this H-rail a little bit better, so super stoked on that. And obviously on the back we got our mounting plate for a motor. Motor will be here shortly. but I decided to go with the one objective mount. I just think it looks a lot cleaner. It was a super easy install, you know, just 2 bolts above where the rudder plate was, and then 2 on the back that connects to the H-rail, super sturdy. And honestly, just a super clean look, which I'm happy about. As we move up front, we got a total disaster in here. I ended up putting a KAYAK Power 8-circuit power panel just to control everything in the kayak electronic wise, you know, just monitoring my battery life. If something is not needed, I can just turn it off and make sure that it's not pulling power from my battery. Right now I just have a 12 volt 18 amp hour Dakota lithium, just testing it, but I will be running my 12 volt 54 amp hour, which I won last year at Potholes Reservoir. It should be enough battery for everything. I've kind of heard that you want to run separate batteries isolated for your graphs and active target. I'm gonna try it out. If it doesn't work out, maybe I'll sell this and get, you know, 2 23 amp hours or whatever. But yeah, it's a total chaos in here. I still need to wait for my active target, obviously, and then I'll tidy things up. Again, probably using that wiring loom just to clean everything up and make sure everything's protected. So I have that power system running underneath the kayak all the way to the center hatch, and actually just mounting it to my Hobie bin. Cool thing about this is I have easy access to the buttons, and one thing I did was add some lights. So these are pretty much the only holes that I have in the kayak right now. Just 2 KAYAK Power lights. This is red for those early mornings where you need a rig. White lights are just too bright on the eyes. And because I'm running a motor, gotta have nav lights. So these are just Amazon lights. They're just held together by a double-sided tape. Nice thing about that, if something goes wrong, obviously I can replace them for cheap. They're only a few bucks on Amazon. With all this wiring, I picked up this little bundle pack from Amazon. It is the connectors. I think they're called SAE. Just picked up a bunch of those just so I can wire everything up perfectly, and you know, if something goes wrong, I can always unplug them and not have to redo complete wiring. Nice thing about the system is that the nav lights, I can easily press, turn off those front nav lights. I still have these for those early mornings, but I also have some rigging lights while you're setting up in the morning, getting the kayak ready. Now I don't have to have a headlamp every time. These actually are pretty bright and they shine the entire length of the kayak, which is super nice. I can rig up and not have to carry a headlamp around. But yeah, that is the update on this Pro Angler build. Still got a few other things to do. It's a lot of things to tidy up, some more parts to wait on. But the next video, we will be installing our Sniper Marine turret system. This is the kayak pole from Sniper Marine. Even though we won't get our active target time, I do want to get this installed and show it off because it's a pretty cool, unique system. So if you want to see more on this kayak build, make sure you subscribe. Remember to smash that like button. It helps my videos reach out to more people just like yourself who are interested in this sort of content. As always, I appreciate y'all watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.